Yes, sir, it's done.
Okay. So microservices are a very important emerging concept in cloud computing, right? Because you see, cloud is all about services, right? Cloud is all about services. So service centricity is very important. So in cloud computing, one of the developmental features is basically the service oriented architecture, SOA. In short, it is called SOA, service oriented architecture. So microservices basically falls under service oriented architecture. Okay. So microservices basically what they do is they arrange an application as a collection of loosely coupled services. In other words, you can think of an application to be comprised of a collection of several microservices. And these microservices do not have too much of interdependencies between them, loosely coupled. So they use these microservices, they use different lightweight protocols, right? And not too much computationally intensive. So lightweight protocols are used, and they have different characteristics which I'm going to read out now. But we will see microservices. We'll try to understand microservices in a lot more detail, right? So first I'm going to read out some of these characteristics which are very well known. So the first thing is that microservices in a microservice architecture is also in short, termed as denoted as MSA, microservice architecture, right? So the services in MSA are basically processes that communicate over a network to fulfill a particular goal using some technology agnostic protocols such as HTTP. Okay, certain goals, certain, depending on what it is supposed to do. So certain goals are fulfilled by, uh, very specific goals are fulfilled by a particular microservice architecture, right? So I'm just giving you an analogy. I do not know how many of you have heard about, uh, containerization, Docker containerization. How many of you have heard about it in
Yes,
development?
sir.
Dockers, right?
Yes,
Use
sir.
of
Yes, sir.
Dockers, right? Docker containers, etc. So, conceptually, I mean, there is actually there is no dependency on Dockers, etc. But what I'm going to tell you is conceptually there is similarity between microservices and Dockerization, right? So, so basically, so small services are offered through individual microservices. You know? So these services are organized around certain business capabilities, certain business. See, every business, you can think of a business to be comprised of a collection of business processes. So you can think of a microservice to be mapped to a particular business process, right? To fulfill a particular business objective. So these services can be implemented using different programming languages, databases, hardware, software, and so on, depending on the requirements. So these services are small in size, and that is why these are known as microservices. These are messaging enabled, bounded by different contexts, autonomously developed, independently deployable, decentralized, and are built and released with automated processes. So all of these different features we'll try to understand little while. I will show you a video like yesterday, and I'm going to so this video will talk a lot more about these different characteristics of microservices. So these microservices, they lend to continuous delivery software development process, and so a change to a small part of the application only requires rebuilding and redeploying only one or a small number of services. So you have a lot of decoupling, right, between these different services. These individual services, they more or less, they do not have too much of dependencies on them. They run on their own, and that is why, so it becomes very easier to build, to rebuild, to redeploy these individual services or a collection of these different services. So microservices, they adhere to the principles such as fine-grained interfaces to independently deployable services. business-driven deployment, business-driven development, example, domain-driven design. So these are some of these, so different types of design paradigms that are there in service-oriented architecture. So they they basically conform to these different types of principles. So some of these benefits which you definitely have understood by now, scalability becomes very easy, right? Since microservices are implemented and deployed independently of each other, they can be run independent of each other, and they can be monitored, they can be upscaled, they can be downscaled independently, and also you can deploy, redeploy, redesign, redevelop these microservices independently. So scalability becomes a very easier problem to handle when you are dealing with microservices. Distributed development also, consequently, you can have different microservices which can be developed autonomously in different teams, separate teams. Parallelly, these can be developed. These can be also, after development, these could be deployed as and when these different microservices are completed in terms of the development. And this basically allows the architecture of an individual service to emerge through continuous refactoring, right? So this MSA based architecture, they facilitate continuous integration, continuous delivery, and continuous deployment. So basically, as and when, so everybody works on a different microservice in a team, right? Different teams basically working on different microservices, and when any of these microservices they get completed, there is no dependency on another microservice, and so it can be deployed as and when the development is completed, right? And it can be integrated with the rest of the system. So likewise, modularity is also it improves modularity. And when you have modular design, so that there are different other advantages. For example, higher the modularity, you have improved understanding of the system. Then you have easier development, easier testing capabilities, and so on. So modularity, these are actually the advantages coming out of increased modularity, right? So what can also happen is integration with legacy systems, that is also facilitated, right? So you have heterogeneous microservices being developed, and each of these could be integrated with the legacy systems. So this is all about some of these different characteristics and features of or characteristics and benefits of microservices. And I would urge you to basically look at different references. Some of these I have captured over here for you, and so these slides are going to be made available to you. Please look at some of these different references. You can also supplement your knowledge by looking at other materials. So now I'm going to show you two videos, one after the other, which is going to talk about, first, the technical details of microservices, and next, how microservice based architecture this basically helps certain companies to have some advantage in the business. So we will look into the case of one of these cab companies, Uber. So how Uber has used microservice architecture to their benefit. The second video is going to talk about that. The first one is going to talk about in more detail about so these microservices. Okay, so so I will stop sharing over here, and
microservice architecture. In this video, let's look at what
oh, sorry, Nidhi, I disconnected it. Please, you have to stop recording also.